I am in this world. A completely inconspicuous cannon fodder character. Fuck, stop hitting me. Anyone I casually pull from around me has a golden finger. But only I know. The childhood sweetheart I grew up with is the big boss who will destroy the world in the future. To keep this world from being destroyed, various travelers, reincarnators and strategy players take turns trying to win him over. And as his childhood sweetheart, I am completely ignored by these male leads. Who is this? Why don't I remember the name? I don't remember either, whatever. Anyway, I'm invisible. Even my parents have trouble remembering my name. I can't possibly pose any threat to them. So when I heard about the new transfer student, I just raised an eyebrow slightly. Host, please gain the favor of the heroine by Ningbing. Completing the task will give corresponding rewards. He curled his lips. Bro is a love expert. Watch me master his thoughts in minutes. That contrasts sharply with his humble self-introduction. Glanced at Bai Ningbing beside him, and said softly, Bai Ningbing, did you hear that? If I'm not deaf, I think I should have heard it. What? Is he your long-lost brother? It seems only I can hear the transfer student's thoughts. I nodded thoughtfully, then immediately put everything out of my mind. Just slack off. After all, I'm just a small cannon fodder character. Can't help much. Hope these travelers work harder to prevent this world from being destroyed. After class, I snatched Bai Ningbing's bread and started eating, then neither often. Then took the gift and walked toward Bai Ningbing. This is a gift I brought for the new classmate. Please accept it. Along with it, I also recall a sentence. System, this time's conquest target is way too beautiful. Kissing him must feel amazing. I almost choked to death, uncontrollably let out a cough. Bai Ningbing frowned and gently patted me on the back. But with a disgusted tone, she said, even a pig eats better than you. I said angrily, Yang, what do you mean? Have you ever raised a pig? Bai Ningbing glanced at me and said, I don't know about pigs. But you're definitely not as smart as a pig. At this time, Ji Baching looked at us with a bitter face. With the look of grievance, he said, Classmate Bai, you guys are a bit too much. You actually ignored me. I felt a bit awkward. I was just about to apologize to him. Then I heard his mind's furious voice. System, who is this guy? Is there such a character in the novel? He's like a clown. Host, calm down. This is just a cannon fodder character. A clown cannon fodder character. I let out a cold laugh. Bai Ningbing also spoke indifferently. Sorry. Then he took the box. Inside was a beautifully packaged heart-shaped cookie. He smiled at Ji Baching and said, I'm really sorry. I'm allergic to cookies. Ji Baching was disappointed. Oh, really? Then what else are you allergic to? I'll bring you something else tomorrow. Bai Ningbing casually added a sentence. To be precise, I'm allergic to people. Even as stupid as Ji Baching, he understood. Bai Ningbing is rejecting him. He gave an awkward smile and said, I'm sorry. Sorry to bother you. Just when I thought he was discouraged, he got even more excited. Damn. System, this is indeed an S-class female lead. She's too rude, but I like it. Who told him to be so beautiful? The corner of my mouth twitched. This group of transmigrators seems a bit dumb. Next pay class. I sat under a tree holding a novel. Bai Ningbing lay on my lap, eyes closed, listening to music. I watched a group of students playing and messing around. Sat next to the neighboring tree. Come, let me tell you. I heard that Bai Ningbing was at the freshman opening ceremony. Announced in front of the whole school that he doesn't want to be in a relationship. The person who told everyone not to bother him. Damn, so aloof. At first I thought so too. If you meet him in person, you wouldn't say that. He's the kind that people online say. A face that astonishes your youth. I looked down at the person lying on my lap. This Bai Ningbing, who amazes others' youths. He was sleeping soundly with his eyes closed. I was just about to reach out and touch. Then I saw Bai Ningbing slowly open his eyes. I calmly took the earphone out of his left ear, curled my lip and said, get up. My legs are numb. Bai Ningbing rubbed his eyes. Slowly stood up and massaged my legs. While massaging, he complained, too hard. I'm not comfortable lying down to sleep. I stood up and patted the grass clippings off my clothes. No, you're the one with the tough mouth. Clearly you want me to eat more. But you have to beat around the bush. Bai Ningbing took the novel from my hand and asked why I was reading this junk out of curiosity. I wanted to see what a domineering CEO looked like as the male lead in a novel. Bai Ningbing covered his mouth and chuckled. You're already dumb. Don't get even dumber from reading that. After school, the sky was overcast. Before long, the pitter-patter of rain began. Bai Ningbing and I stood under the eaves, staring at each other dumbfounded. I tentatively asked, what do you think the odds are that we can run back without getting our hair wet? Bai Ningbing said, 100%. I said excitedly, do you have a plan? Tell me quick. Bai Ningbing said very calmly, I'll help you twist your head off. Then after I run back, I'll screw it back on. I said irritably, thanks a lot. He smiled. You're welcome. Before I could keep nagging, a man's voice interrupted me. Sister Bai. Don't you have an umbrella? If you don't mind, take this one. Bai Ningbing and I turned to look. We saw Ji Bacheng holding an umbrella, staring straight at Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing said lazily, "No need. Thanks, Ji Bacheng. Mind your own safety." With tearful eyes, he said, "It's okay, Sister Bai. Just take it. With such heavy rain, you might catch a cold." At the same time, I heard the thoughts in his mind. Any woman has a special fondness for the term sister. I thought about it, and imagined him calling Bai Ningbing Sister Bai. Couldn't help rubbing the goosebumps on my arms. Then curiously glanced at Bai Ningbing. I saw no expression on his face at all. "Sorry, classmate. I don't remember having a younger brother. My mom always told me since I was little not to accept things from strangers." Jaibo Chang's expression twisted for a moment, then instantly returned to normal. "Classmate Bai, you sure have a sense of humor. I almost admire him for how fast he can change his face." Seeing Bai Ningbing still acting indifferent, he could only grit his teeth and say, "In that case, I won't disturb you." He turned and ran out. I heard him angrily shouting in his heart, "John, just wait for me. I'll be back." My method is definitely not the problem. It's definitely this female lead that's the problem. Seeing the tool that could get me home slip away, I asked, "What do we do?" Bai Ningbing held up his phone and shook it at me. "Called a driver." 5 minutes later, Bai Ningbing and I got into the car. I asked him with a smile, "How does it feel being called Big Sister?" Bai Ningbing replied maliciously, "You try calling me that first." I shot back without mercy, "You wish." Bai Ningbing curled his lip. The concubine looked at him sympathetically. "With your cold and aloof image, you're really going to end up lonely forever." Bai Ningbing twitched his mouth. "Don't worry. If I end up lonely forever, I'll definitely take you with me." I couldn't help shaking my head, sighing from the bottom of my heart. "You're probably what people online call a silent girlfriend. You'd probably be quite charming if you just stayed quiet." Bai Ningbing said coolly, "If you had a brain, you'd probably be quite smart too." I let out another heartfelt sigh, not only venomous, but also petty. No hope at all. The driver uncle looked at us with a smile. "You two still get along so well." I was puzzled. Is a relationship where you don't care if the other lives or dies considered good? On the other side, Ji Bacheng, with the mindset of the more he fights, the braver he gets, got up early in the morning to dress up and look at. The hairstyle he carefully styled this morning was very satisfied. The system told him that Bai Ningbing's location was at the basketball court. Arriving at the basketball court, he looked around a few times, but didn't see Bai Ningbing. He frowned and asked the system, "Didn't you say Bai Ningbing was at the basketball court?" The system indicated that she was watching the game under the tree on the left. Ji Bacheng looked over. Bai Ningbing was wearing a white floral dress, drinking milk tea, and beside her was me, who had just finished playing basketball. At that moment, Ji Bacheng walked over and said excitedly, "What a coincidence. Classmate Bai, you guys came to watch basketball too." Then, in his heart, he cursed using every word he could think of. Why is this damn cannon fodder always around? What a simp. Watching Ji Bacheng curse me in his mind. I'm already used to it. I just silently regretted there was no popcorn for me to munch on. Bai Ningbing asked, "Who are you?" He scratched his head awkwardly. "Classmate Bai, don't joke around. I'm Ji Bacheng." I could clearly hear. His heart had already collapsed. Damn it. System, is this world definitely SS rank difficulty? I've never seen such a heartless woman. The system said mercilessly, "Tomorrow is the last day of the mission. Host, please work hard. Otherwise, we will have to take back the rewards. It will greatly affect your next conquest." Ji Bacheng gritted his teeth and racked his brain for a long time, but couldn't come up with any good ideas. In the past, he never had to make a move. The conquest targets would come to him on their own. At most, he'd meet someone a bit aloof, and within 2 days, they'd be infatuated with him. But Bai Ningbing was like a piece of wood. He tried every trick he knew, but nothing worked. Instead, she drove him crazy with anger. Since that was the case, he had no choice but to use the tactic he once despised most. Ji Bacheng suddenly said to me, who was watching the show nearby, "This classmate, could you please give us some privacy? I have something I want to say to Bai Ningbing." I nodded. "Sure. You two talk." Seeing me leave, Bai Ningbing's expression turned even colder. She spoke without any politeness. "Classmate, I don't know what I did to offend you. Coincidentally, I also want to make this clear to you. Stop disturbing my life." With that, she turned and left. Ji Bacheng panicked. He quickly stepped forward to block Bai Ningbing and said, "I like you. Ever since the first time we met, I've had a crush on you. I hope you can give me a chance to pursue you." Bai Ningbing's eyes were indifferent as she replied, "Are you done? If there's nothing else, I'm leaving." Ji Bacheng shuddered, swallowed hard. "Really? Look at me, I have a good body. And I'm not bad looking either. Just give me a chance." Ji Bacheng looked up at the woman who was now dry heaving in front of him, face full of embarrassment. Bai Ningbing stood up for Li Fanyang. Without even glancing at him, he dropped a line about staying on Mars. Ji Bacheng stood there, bewildered by the wind. In the classroom, I stared at the door. Why hasn't Bai Ningbing come back yet? Nothing happened to him, right? No, I should be worried about Jibaching instead. How could a soldier of 100 years be in any trouble? Though I thought that in my mind. My expression was grave. Anxious and restless, I looked up and saw Bai Ningbing's face pale. I quickly stepped forward and asked, Bai Ningbing, are you okay? You look so terrible. Bai Ningbing took my water cup and rinsed his mouth. He only stopped when there was no taste left in his mouth. Seeing me looking at him with full concern, he lowered his head and buried it in my shoulder. His voice carried a hint of grievance. I was scared. It's all your fault for leaving me behind. Grown-up Bai Ningbing rarely showed weakness to me. I felt guilty. I patted his head and said, I'm sorry. I won't do it again next time. Bai Ningbing rubbed against my palm. He stood up and sat down. You dare to have it next time. I took a candy from my bag and gave it to him. I asked, what did seventh uncle do to you? Nothing. I stared at him for a while. Seeing that he refused to speak, I gave up pressing further. After school, we went home. After taking a shower, I casually threw on a white t-shirt and went to the door of Bai Ningbing's bedroom. I knocked on the door. No one answered. I pushed the door open and went straight in. I saw him sitting in front of the computer with his headphones on. I went over and knocked on his desk. What are we having for dinner? Bai Ningbing took off his headphones. He stretched and said, I'll cook. I clutched my chest with a sad expression. Militia, I really feel sorry for you today. But you don't have to poison me, do you? He hugged my head. He punched me with his little fist, accusing me of poisoning the food. That's just a waste of poison. I felt a soft sensation from the back of my head. Bai Ningbing's face and neck turned bright red. He struggled hard and ran downstairs. I forgot for a moment. He usually doesn't like wearing underwear at home. After all, no matter how familiar he is with me, he can't press a boy's head against his chest. I went downstairs. I saw Bai Ningbing already cutting vegetables in the kitchen. I went over to take a look. It actually looked quite professional. Not bad. Need any help? Bai Ningbing poured meat into the pressure cooker. He glanced at me and said, go sit down. Don't be in the way here. I strode over and plopped down on the sofa. I turned on the TV. Bai Ningbing warned me not to eat snacks. Otherwise you won't be able to eat later. I'll shove it all in for you, I said speechlessly. Isn't it just that you won't be able to finish it later? Do you want me to clean up after you? After who knows how long? The aroma of food wafted over. I turned off the TV. Bai Ningbing had already served the rice. Simple, 4 dishes and a soup. And all of them are my favorites. I looked surprised and praised her. Bai Ningbing's lips curled up. With a triumphant look in her eyes, she said, I'm naturally gifted. It only means your talent is second. And I am the first. Experts always appear last. One day I'll show you a thing or two. After the meal, the two lay on the sofa. A cheesy drama was playing on TV. I lay on the sofa and nudged Bai Ningbing beside me. Are you really not going to tell me? What exactly did Jibaching do to you? Bai Ningbing's voice carried a unique weirdness. I don't know how to say it. Someone so arrogant, actually having moments of hesitation. I sat up, my eyes fixed on her. Worried, I asked, then tell me, why did you throw up? As soon as you entered the classroom, your first reaction was to rinse your mouth. I dared not think of the worst possibility. Sure enough, would those so-called transmitters hurt him? I shouldn't have left. Bai Ningbing's forehead twitched. She sighed and looked at me. I'll tell you, but don't laugh. I blinked and nodded. She said awkwardly, I got sick from seeing him undress himself. I was shocked. What do you mean? How could you look at his there? Bai Ningbing puffed out her cheeks. He took it off himself. I was puzzled. Then why did you take it off? Bai Ningbing frowned and spat out 2 words. Gross. Shocked, I asked. Then what about when you watch action movies? Bai Ningbing pinched me. She said disdainfully, I never watch anything that disgusting. What's there to see? She caught on and glared at me fiercely. You've watched them. How could I possibly? I heard it from someone else. Men who don't love themselves are like rotten cabbages. You know, you're lucky to have run into me. When I went back to my room to sleep, I couldn't help but laugh thinking about Jibaching's face. Boys at elite schools are mostly a bit arrogant and conceited. Their families aren't short on money either, making them swallow their pride and please others. How could that ever happen? So those so-called legend seekers probably can't harm Bai Ningbing. After all, she's the female lead of this world. Should I tell Bai Ningbing about the fact that they're all schemers? I drifted off to sleep with this question on my mind. The next day, I pedaled my bike, dragging Bai Ningbing along while she panted like a dog in front. Bai Ningbing, you need to lose some weight. Bai Ningbing leaned against my back. It's just that you're too skinny. Perfect. You need the exercise. I grumbled. Then don't cling to me. It's boiling hot. The two of us bickered all the way to the classroom like elementary school kids. I scanned the room and saw that Jibaching still hadn't shown up. Normally, he would have been here by now. I took out my phone and saw that he'd actually posted a new status. It was all about one dream. The corner of my mouth twitched. No way, man. He's already dreaming about her. Bai Ningbing glanced at the time from the side. Time's up. I have to go to the student council. I asked, hasn't Shen Efia come back yet? Shen Efia is the president of the student council. These past few days, it seems he went to represent the school in some event. Bai Ningbing has been temporarily filling that position these 2 days. After Bai Ningbing finished dealing with the student council matters, she came out of the classroom, kept turning left, opened the door, and went in. Above the door were 3 glaring characters, Gaodai and Shihai and pastry shop. The master inside smiled and said, Ningbing, you're here. What do you want to learn today? Bai Ningbing tied on an apron. The master liked this kid more and more as he looked at her. At first, he thought this young girl was just fooling around, but he never expected she would keep at it for so long. Bai Ningbing said she wanted to learn how to make pudding pastries today. The master smiled and took out the tools. Girls like you nowadays are really rare. So, have you caught the person you like? Bai Ningbing lowered her eyes and pursed her lips. A shadow passed over her eyes. Not yet. The master continued. Are young people's standards so high these days? If you ask me, you need to say some sweet words. Uncle has been through it. Back in the day, my first love was stolen away by a slick-talking pretty boy. So, if you do something, you have to say it out loud. Don't just do things behind the scenes. In the end, the other person won't even know. By the time you realize it, he'll have already been taken away by someone who knows how to sweet talk. Bai Ningbing stopped what she was doing, and her face darkened with an icy expression. He has always been mine. If he goes off with someone else, I'll chop that person up. The master was stunned. He slapped his own mouth. Look at me and my big mouth. Uncle didn't mean anything else. Don't take it to heart. The atmosphere passed in silence. After Bai Ningbing left, the pastry master wiped the sweat off his forehead and let out a sigh of relief. Bai Ningbing entered the classroom holding a pudding. He saw me sitting on the desk at a glance. Remembering what that uncle had just said, his eyes darkened. Suddenly he lifted his head, gestured for me to come over and smiled. He slowly walked closer, placed what he had just made on my desk. My eyes widened in surprise. I asked him where the pudding came from. He lowered his eyes and replied it was a gift from the student council. If you don't want it, give it to me. I hurriedly said once it's on my desk it's mine. He smiled and said just now. My hand was still on your desk. Without thinking I blurted out. Because you yourself are also mine. Bai Ningbing snorted and said, are you a bandit? His tone was as critical as ever. But the way he looked at me was unbearably gentle. I am yours. So you can only be mine too. I tore open the package and scooped out a bite. Said if I were a bandit, I'd only rob you. Then I'd make you my servant. Making Bai Ningbing wash my feet for me. Just the thought made me happy. Bai Ningbing seemed to know what I was thinking.